Hello, fellow collectors. Today we're going to be taking a look at Red Hood from Red Hood and the Outlaws DC Collectibles figure line. Now here we see the Red Hood, his two guns, a Red Hood action figure, DC Comics, a new 52. So on the side we see Red Hood Jason Todd on the side. On the back we see the figures that come in the line. We have Starfire Arsenal. And if I pull in here, you can get a little bit of a data file with a little picture of the Red Hood. Please pause to read. So on the side here, we actually have a product shot of Red Hood. So if I bring in my scale, we see that this guy is coming in right at 8.8 ounces. So let's get him off the scale and out of the box. Okay, now that I have him out of the box, we'll take a look at his accessories. Here we have his gun. He has two of them. They are exactly the same except for the little bit of paint mold there, mesh. Now if we take a look at Red Hood, we see these wacky sword looking can openers on his side. That was part of the design at the time. It definitely was something to see, especially with a Red Hood figure. Yeah. So those aside, we have a normal looking Red Hood face mask, even though this one has a little bit of a lip here. We see the brown jacket, the Batman type armor. We see that I just pulled a little bit of the glue here, so it is glued at the chest. But don't worry, there is no ab crunch or anything like that. You do have a waist swivel. I'll get to that in a second. But here we have some nice sculpt for the pants. The wrinkles and everything. His boots, and the pants coming over the boots. The back of the jacket, how it's ruffled here, so you can put him in an action pose. Now, as far as articulation goes, this guy can look up a little bit and down just a little bit. It's because of this head sculpt, or the way that it's designed. You can see here up and down. You can also do left and right. As far as the arms are concerned, we get this much of a T-pose, and this goes around. Now there is no bicep swivel. The arm is on a peg hinge. You can see the hinge here. There's the peg. You just simply move the arm, and you can rotate this a little bit. There you go. Now he does have a glove rotation here. Now just be aware that you do have these knives and all this stuff, and it will hinder sometimes the movements. Now the swords themselves, these knives, swords, they do move out and in a little bit. So you did get a little bit of movement out of those. They don't retract or remove completely. Now his wrist does rotate around, but there is no hinge here for in and out movement. Like I said before, no ab crunch, but he does have a little bit. Well, it looked like a waist swivel. Mine may be telling me stories, but I just ripped off his holster. Glue always works. So it doesn't look like he has a waist swivel, or that I'm going to keep attempting or break off more stuff. Now he does have holsters that are glued onto the side. You can see here my glue just came off of it. Have no fear, just a simple fix, and it will glue back on, because that's all it was before. Now as far as his legs are concerned, you can move them out, move them forward and back. He does have a single bend in the knee, and his ankle goes forward and back. Now, as far as his legs go, he does have a peg hole in the left, or sorry, the right foot for a stand, and that is it. So posability will be limited a little bit with this guy because of the old design. But these figures were designed at a different time, not the highly anticipated designs that we expect today. So let me get him back up into a standing pose here. And so this figure does come in at 6 3/4 inches. So if I bring in a later version of this, you'll see here the red hood. Later versions, they got rid of that annoying mouthpiece and just covered it up completely. This is still my favorite version, the Essentials version of the red hood that came out later. Still one of the best, if not the best, figure from the DC lineups before McFarlane, and even beats some of McFarlane's figures. Now, speaking of a McFarlane figure, let's bring in Red Hood from the Three Jokers. You can see how these stack up. Different paint style, his new all black outfit instead of the brown jacket. But this figure does hold a place in history from the comic book line, Red Hood and the Outlaws. So if you're looking for this guy, third-party markets are your available options, or even Amazon. I've seen him on there. And his guns simply do fit into his hands. You can see here, he does have a trigger finger for all of them. But these swords just crack me up, man. All right. So anyway, remember to shop around, like, subscribe, and keep